Two sisters rule a fortress of rock and engines, and they are afraid. The younger confessed it first. Her sister's continuity was growing near, and the elder's cure would not be a medicine. It would be a body, young, strong, and open to the void. So when the dreamers of the second dream awoke, the elder did not despair. The record keeps her answer exactly. Yes, they will, like the answer to a prayer. Something had already reached across the system for the waking child's mind. How, no record says. But the lotus felt it, and carried the children back to Lua, to the reservoir, where Margulis once put the tenno into the dream. The answer to what came next is preserved. After the Zariman, the Orokin erased everything, every log, every trace. The only thing the Empire kept was the children. They were not alone in the cradle. A warrior stood among the pods, one the tenno knew from 1,000 sparring floors, Teshin. He ordered the child to leave. This, he said, did not concern them. Then, from a shattered pod, came a woman's voice that belonged to no one on Lua, commanding him to bring the children to her. Asked what that voice was, Teshin gave only a name: the Queen's. The child followed him, and even the lotus urged retreat. To her, the Queens were a myth no one had ever seen in the flesh. But the trail ended at a fortress on torn rock, riding Fomorian engines, always moving. And for the first time in these records, the child told the mother no, and went in alone. Inside, the lotus drowned in static, and two voices woven like one promised the child a gift. In the deep of that fortress hung braids of something red. Remember them. The gift was a throne room the child knew from the vision. Teshin stood in it, and Teshin knelt. Hear the name it used: Teshin Dax. Then it named its price: the orphan, brought before it. It's Yuvan. In Record 3, this archive told you the masterless clone legions found new queens to kneel to. Here, at last, those queens have faces. The twin queens, so old that even the lotus thought them myth. And how two sisters outlived the centuries. The archive holds one carved poem and no proof. What the child was for, the worm answered with a laugh the record still carries. Her sister meant to eat them. Then the elder queen claimed the steel itself. The warframes were Orokin work. Hers to give, hers to take away. The link tore. The child woke in their own flesh aboard the orbiter, and the warframe did not follow. Even the ship turned on them. A corrupted Ordis recited the terms of a purge. The child, cast out in a landing pod, falling toward Earth. When the pod opened, there was snow, a mountain pass, and on the trail, a corpse, frozen mid-crawl. Teshin was waiting there. The child swung at him, and the void did not answer. The hard way then. One warning followed them up the pass. The queen would burrow into the child's mind, Teshin said, exactly as the moor burrowed beneath their feet. Under the snow lay a pit floored with bones, and the golden thing that had made it. Here this archive must do something it has never done before. It must write into the margin of its own first record. That record told you Margulis taught the children to hold their power. Teshin's telling is harder, and the record keeps it in his exact words. Margulis lied to you, a lie of omission. She did not cure the Zariman children. She erased them. A power buried, and the burial called a cure. Hold both tellings. Before this record seals, a third voice will weigh them. Then, as the child climbed, the mountain gave the memories back. Behind one door, a father at a viewport, staring into the starless black. What he said there, the record will need again before this record ends. Something's out there, kiddo, watching us. Hold on to that word. Kiddo, a father's word with the void just past the glass. The mountain asked the worst question. What did the children do when the mad adults broke through? The record keeps 3 testimonies and will not choose. One child hoped for rescue and hid. One built a prison for the broken. And one hunted. Margulis had buried it deep. The queen had just dug it up. Rock or mind, the record cannot separate them. What it can verify is what came down from that pass. The buried power had returned, and it needed no machine. Transference, innate. With no warframe left to wear, the child brought the golden maw itself to heal, bare-handed. The suit was never the weapon. It was the sheath. Past the summit, the old warrior said what he was. A Dax, the last of them. The Dax were built to obey. They cannot defy the kuva, the scepter, the symbols of Orokin dominion. No Dax may ever raise steel against an Orokin. But the child could. And the old soldier began to sharpen his weapon. Then he showed them the theater. A Yuvan theater, where the young and exotic were paraded past a viewing pane, and withering Orokin bartered for their next body. Here the first record again. A younger vessel, a fresh start. The vessel was a person. The queen, Teshin warned, did not want the child dead. She meant to wear them. The child escaped the mountain, and aboard the dead orbiter, the power stayed. Teshin had stayed behind, so the choice made itself. The ship insisted there was no way back. The child went back anyway. And when Teshin, stunned, asked why, the answer was simple. The child had come back for him. The Elder Queen screamed for her new skin. Her guardians answered with weapons proofed in kuva, built to stop warframes. And the child wore none. The braids from the deep held her shield. Guardians protecting braids. Braids protecting the queen. Then the rags of empire fell away, and the sisters named themselves at last. Orokin, creators, the golden lords of old. One command remained. By her Orokin blood, she ordered Teshin Dax to kill this tenno, and the oath obeyed. The last lesson between master and student was fought with live steel. The child he had met on the mountain, the child everyone in this record kept naming, was already gone, and the duel proved it. When his blades finally lowered, the record kept his exact words. You are a child no longer. Then the scepter left the queen's hand, snatched by a void dash no oath could bind, and her hold on Teshin broke with it. Her freed slave finally answered her, a chance to kill her, and now he had it. What happened next, the archive keeps in 3 tellings. In one, she is left to rot. In another, the child ends it. In the last, the blade is Teshin's own. Every telling ends the same. The continuity was refused, and the Worm Queen fled into the dark. On the road home, the third voice weighed Margulis, the Lotus. To her, Margulis never lied. She protected. A mother who buried a fire to save the house. A soldier who dug it up to win a war. The archive rules for neither, and writes both into the first record's margin. And when the Lotus called, the child changed. The answer came back quiet. No more excuses. On the summit, Teshin weighed the red fluid itself. Kuva. Some call it the blood of the Orokin ancestors, an elixir of immortality. Others, a corrupting poison that brings madness. His creed, the record keeps whole. I believe them both. But for you, Tenno, perhaps this kuva is just a symbol. That what you choose to do will define you more than anything. And then, when the mountain was silent, a voice spoke from the child's own mouth that was not the child's voice. The record keeps 3 versions of what it said, and it keeps them in the voice's own words. You mad at me, kiddo? Did you forget? You owe me. Don't forget, kiddo. You're nothing without me. Hey, kiddo, what took you so long? 3 greetings. 1 word shared between them. The father's word, from the viewport, from the starless black. This archive files the voice where Record 1 left its stories. The stories of the man in the wall. It does not open them, not yet. The war without rages on, exactly as the Lotus promised. But the war within has a voice now, and it knows the child by the name their father used. Teshin's last letter names himself the prisoner of a poison oath, and names the child something more. More than a tenno, themselves. I am Cephalon Vestige. Record 6 is sealed.